We're going to start the intro
Actually,
now.
you were recording.
I was recording that whole time. And welcome back to the Hot Rod Lounge. My name is Travis. Welcome to episode 15. Can you believe we got 15 episodes in?
Wow.
Cool. As you can see, or you can if you're listening to us, but we are in one of the coolest, I don't know, this is one of the coolest shops I've seen in a long time. But,
but you don't hang out in many shops.
That's true. That's very true. Hey, we're brought to you by Scotch Media Group, sponsored by Riverside Ford of Tulsa, where Riverside is always by your side. And as usual, we have the host with the most, Mr. Randy Pierce. How are you, sir?
I'm good, T. Hall. How? Did we do this last Tuesday?
No.
No.
We canceled.
The Tuesday before.
Tuesday before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the dealership, weren't?
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I lose track, guys. How you been?
I've been good.
You been good?
Yeah.
I let your son drag me all over hell and back today.
Yeah, well.
We did a little video
It's good
shoot
for you.
down at the new Zinc Lake
Yeah.
and the Whitewater Park and the new pedestrian bridge.
It's pretty cool down there, huh?
The only problem with the pedestrian bridge is you can't drive your car across it.
Mm-hmm. Pedestrian
bridge. Key word.
Randy.
You know?
You want to take that yellow Mustang across there? We know that's Shelby, but
the
not
problem
this
is
time.
they got benches in the way.
Right.
Got to move them. Mm-hmm. The yellow Mustang's not here. Drove a Bronco today.
I saw that. It's a beautiful color. What color is that?
Eruption green.
Looked to me like Bullet Mustang green.
That's right.
He
does
That's
look
a little
like
light,
Bullet.
but
drove
yeah,
his Bullet
that's
out there
right.
and went, dang, that
Actually,
color's
It's not the
close.
Highland green.
Bullet's
It's
a little
close.
Bullet's a little darker.
It is.
A little darker.
Yeah.
A little darker.
Yeah. Bullet turned 50,000 miles.
I
2
saw
days
that.
ago, right?
So time to put it in the garage and
That's what I'm trying to do. I want to do that. It's probably another 6 months before I can.
Well, let me tell you a little secret. Because people can't see us yet until, what, Sunday?
Yep.
On the YouTubies.
On the YouTubies.
Walk around in here. You can find your daily driver, son.
Oh, yeah. I understand.
Are these daily drivers?
They can be.
They can be. 100%.
There's and I'll tell you the one that just be, and he'd get great gas mileage.
For sure. That's what I'm looking for.
There's
economy.
There's a
Not really.
1986 Grand National sitting
saw
right
that.
back there.
Well, since we're
We
talking
actually got two of them
Right.
here.
I saw the other one
Yeah.
in the other shop. Oh,
Yeah.
we're getting ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you might want to introduce our guest today, since we're
Andy.
talking about his shop.
Andy is with, and I'm sorry, you didn't bring me notes. I don't know Andy's last name.
Andy Allen.
Andy Allen. And we're at Andy's, not ice cream.
No.
I wish.
My wife was a little disappointed. I
week.
told her we were podcasting from Andy's, and she said, "Can I go?" And I said, "It's not what you think it is."
Andy's Hot Rod and Restoration, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And there's some cool stuff in here. But we got Andy. We got Travis.
I mean, you just have to look behind us. There's these engines that sit in here.
Oh, yeah. To my immediate right, Prince Earl, who's always with us. And then we got a new guy on the end.
A new guy.
New guy.
A new guy.
Okay.
Because you haven't been here.
Somebody's had to work.
Steve
Been out of town.
McQueen Hahn,
Right.
who he decided as his job keeps getting in the way,
Right.
he's just going to quit working.
Right. Just
Gail's going to just support him.
I'm working toward that. I really am. We've had that conversation. How much money are you making now? You got to raise this. Well, we're almost
You're almost there.
We're almost there.
I'm thinking
Keep thinking that.
I know, right?
she got her master's.
She does.
By the time she gets to the PhD, you're in.
I'm almost there. That's why I said 6 months. 6 months, and then that daily driver kicks in.
Yep. So, but for now, drive the Bullet.
Right.
The original Bullet sold for almost $4 million, and it had over 100,000 miles on it, so you'll be fine.
All right.
Okay? T-Hall, you didn't bring me any notes, so I guess we'll just get after it.
Yeah. Do you need
Wing
notes?
it.
I mean, we're talking about cars.
Generally, he brings me a list of notes, and it says,
Ask these questions.
ask Andy where he had his first hot dog.
Hot rod,
Oh, hot rod.
not hot dog.
Ask
trying
Andy.
to think where I had my first hot dog now because I'm kind of hungry.
Now we're all
Valid question, right?
hungry.
Let's all think about that.
I tell you what, I had one just a while ago down here at the QT.
Well,
I just assumed, being in a hot rod showroom
Well, I mean,
with
this
the
is-
3 of you, 4 of you, we could probably figure out things to talk about without
Yeah.
having to
So,
worry about it.
Andy, and I'm gonna ask Earl. Probably knows. I have no idea. How long have you been in the hot rod business?
so I actually grew up in kind of the hot rod business because my dad had a shop. So from early on, he had me in the bed of a truck. I used to think it was trying to show me how to do stuff. It was to get him out of his hair. So he would give me sandpaper, like 180 grit sandpaper, get in the bed of a truck and tell me get all the scratches out.
Right.
If you see, these old cars, there's a lot of scratches. So I never got done, but I was out of his hair.
Right.
So, that's where I got my start, just following my dad around and, kind of mimicking what he did and then learned the business. And
Not
Here we
scratch,
are.
not scratches, son. Patina.
yeah,
Patina.
that's nowadays.
That's nowadays. Back
Used
then
to,
it
we
was
called it
scratches.
rust.
You called it rust.
Now it's fashionable.
Yeah, now it is fashionable.
I'm just looking around here. Earl, I didn't see any rust. Did you? Just looking around.
No,
in the
that's why
shop?
they're here
By
to
the time
remove
they-
the rust.
By the time they make it to this part of the building, there
Right.
shouldn't be any rust.
They've moved over.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
and
the
you
rust was
said-
in the other building.
Okay. And you said you have 30,000 square foot here.
Yeah, there's
give or take.
30,000 square foot. Yeah, and we're packed. I mean, it's the car culture. I will say has definitely just leaps and bounds. It's taken off, and I don't see it slowing down. That's to do with these old cars. That's to do with modern hot rods.
Right.
That's to do with a little bit of everything. The car culture is just strong.
Well,
It seems
and-
that, especially around here, though.
oh, absolutely.
I mean,
100%.
everywhere we go, there's,
Yeah,
like car stuff around here.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, do you know Mike out at Gasoline Alley in
I do
Spopa?
not.
Yeah,
I do
that's,
not.
That's you need to go see that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, it is one place.
It's worth a trip to see the floors.
Yeah.
What was that?
My phone. Sorry.
I seen another episode that seemed to happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it happens.
Yeah.
You know, quite a bit. We are very unscripted.
Yeah.
As we what the so 30,000 square foot. Mm-hmm. You spend
So we do complete frame up restorations or build frames, build chassis, or we take some customers come in, they just want to do paint work because they can do their own mechanical work. So
Right.
we help people out in any way. We're kind of the every man's hot rod guys.
right.
So, that's kind of some of these cars, though. I was showing him one a while ago that right now where it's sitting at, there's $500,000 sitting there. Wow. And that's not every man's hot rod.
Right.
But there's not every man can do that either.
And if you look
I
at
sure
them,
couldn't.
and if you look at them just sitting there, and you
They
got
don't look it.
500,000, you're like, what? I mean, I'd never thought about it. We were talking about it in there. I never thought about how when you're restoring these cars, the last thing you do is paint, right? I mean,
Pretty close. Pretty close.
So all of the work, all of that building, and all of the expenses are all inside there. And you look at the car now, and you're like, you showed us that one was like $250,000.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? But I bet once it's all painted and
Okay.
dressed up, and then you look at the engine and all. I mean, it's going to be nice. It's kind of cool.
And my thought too is just the workforce behind that. You know,
Yes.
how limited is the workforce
So that is
regarding
honestly
the
the
build?
hardest part about owning, any business right now, but hot rod in particular, because everything that we do is so detail oriented, and it's hard to find that in people that are into these old cars.
Right.
So you can find collision guys, a collision guy that is very detail oriented, but then they don't want nothing to do with this hot rod stuff. Yeah. And
It takes too long.
Yeah. Where they're going to work on something, have it in and out in a week. We're going to have in and out in maybe 2 years, maybe 3. There's been some up to 6 years, just depending on what we're doing to them and the level that we're taking it. It just takes a long time.
Do you find that it's more like workforce development on the job regarding your people, or how does that progression happen in the
So
shop?
the best way to do it is if you grab a person that has, say, like a little bit of passion, a little bit of knowledge with cars, and then you bring them in and you kind of form them to around what you want. The downside to that is a lot of times you spend the money, you spend the resources to get that person where you want them. Somebody else naps them.
Somebody snatches them.
And right as you get them trained where you want them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the downside of it, but you can get your best guys by training them how you want them to be, you know.
And what you're talking about there not only happens in your world, it
Sure,
happens
everywhere.
in our
Everywhere.
world. Everywhere.
Yeah.
In the auto industry or any other industry.
Well, imagine
You know?
though, because these are, I mean, you're dealing with older cars.
Right.
So, it was, I mean,
So you need older guys.
Exactly, and it's a
Well, but-
limited skill set too.
The older guys are, you know, retiring or,
Right.
I hate to say it like this, dying off.
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
So a lot of that skill set is going with them. And, I mean, we know a lot of older generations that have died off recently that have built some really nice hot rods, street rods, and you know, their legacy's not gone, but they are,
Yeah.
and their ability to teach the next generation's gone. So it, you know, it just takes, hopefully, you know, and there are schools out there. There's a Wyotech and some of the other ones that are, you know, decent at getting kids that head start, but still yet they're not going to just come in and be able to.
This isn't a
Take off.
watch the YouTube video.
Right.
no,
Segment.
no.
I am not going to
And
lie.
that's where we are in our culture.
I am
though,
not
today.
going to lie. If it wasn't for YouTube, there'd be a lot of stuff that we couldn't do. Because we
Right.
use YouTube, you know, we get into, we were looking at the old British vehicle back there earlier.
Right.
And, you know, I don't know nothing about them. My guys don't know nothing about them.
Yeah.
We pull up YouTube and we can find out something about them. It's mechanical.
I'm
You
glad
just-
he said that.
You
'Cause
can jump into it.
Yeah.
So we
Cool.
will watch YouTube and try to figure something out when we don't know.
Yeah.
it's got to
So-
be
That's cool.
hard. It's
Yeah.
got to be hard to get like this generation. There's 3 young
Right.
guys standing here in front of us, and I know that like TJ is a car guy. He's been on the show.
TJ is a car
he's a
guy.
car guy. But if you ask him about Tesla or something like that, I mean, he's all in on electric. Fair,
Right.
you know.
Fair.
So how do you? And that seems to be a generational thing. I mean, as,
To a point, I agree. Where I disagree is now something I really, really, really want to do is take a Tesla Plaid platform and put say like a 56 Ford, have an all-wheel drive Tesla, but it's a 56 Ford pickup that will run 9s and a quarter all day long,
Right.
not make a sound, and tick off a lot of hot rodders.
Yeah.
Because I am that guy that we took a car to SEMA that had 6 18-inch subs in the back of it in
Yeah.
a 33 Ford Vicky.
yeah,
Ticks off the hot rodders. They just like,
Oh, yeah.
you just tore up, you know, an old.
The purist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but what it did is it generated conversation.
Yeah.
And so we started, you know, there was more conversation being had around that car just because, you know, now they started talking about it. And then once you open that up, that conversation, then you can kind of see, well, all right, so this guy is about, you know, the older hot
Right.
rods, and he views, you know, how he views things, and you know, but you can learn a lot by just listening and by sparking that conversation first by taking them off.
Right.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Which makes no sense, but it works.
Yeah.
But in the
Yeah.
car culture, it matters not what you do. Somebody's going to be ticked off.
well, sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you could just say Ford in a forum, and your Chevy guys will go off.
Yeah.
Right.
Or if you say Corvette in a Ford forum, I mean, it becomes this huge conversation. So, I mean,
Right. And so I showed you a 71 C10 that was my grandpa's.
Right.
I was so close. I was going to build it as a pro touring
Right.
vehicle, and I was going to put a Coyote motor in it, and just to tick people off because I'm a Ford guy.
Right.
So I was going to have a 71 C10 pickup with a Coyote motor in it.
And
But
I honestly think that'd be cool.
I think it would be.
I think that's what we do.
Well, I mean, it becomes a. I mean, is that. No, rat rods are basically, though. I mean, basically.
No, not necessarily. So rat rod is more of a. So this van, I don't know if you can see it behind us, but
this van is
that van
awesome.
is going to be more rat rodish. But a rat rod is something that you're taking a bunch of older items and you're building a car with it. And so that becomes a rat rod. Now, in a case, this is more of a patinaed hot rod. So if you call a patinaed hot rod a rat rod, you kind of, that's where it's kind of like calling one thing a Camaro versus a Mustang. You know, you get these people that get upset by that.
Right.
Right.
But so in the patina world, so this is more patina. I said rat rod, but it's more of a patina build. So we're all late model drivetrain. It's going to be on air. It looks kind of rough right now, but The outside is going to stay exactly like it is.
I think like I wouldn't
cool.
change a
We're
thing
not-
on the outside of that
Not
thing.
at all.
So the interior is
No.
the reason why it's in the body shop right now. So this
Yeah.
is our body shop, and it's in just get the interior painted, which is going to be kind of like the diner, the seats, those really heavy metallic.
Right.
That's what the
Yeah.
interior is going to be like,
Okay.
and heavy metallic paint. And he's going to camp out of it.
Yeah.
The louvered windows.
cool.
Yep, because that's
Yeah.
a
I
camper.
I love that.
That's a camper special.
You know,
So-
it,
Florida windows.
Yep.
when you see those vans, it reminds me of them old vans in the 70s with the shag carpet and the big
yeah.
pipes down the
Oh,
side.
they're popular now.
Oh, yeah. TJ wants one. He's going to make it a tuner.
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 Yeah.
He is not amused.
He gets crap for the tuner thing almost every episode.
Yeah, but let's back up. Let's talk about that, though.
Yep.
There is still a great culture. We're talking about car culture
Right.
behind the tuner.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh, sure.
because let's face it, boys, big engine V8 hot rods are going to go away
No.
eventually.
No. Never.
Well,
New ones.
let's back up. New ones.
New ones. Okay.
They're
New
going to
ones.
quit building. I mean, we're down
Yeah.
to one affordable
Right.
V8 car on the market right now.
Yeah.
One, and it's going to go the other way.
Sure.
Eventually, at the helm of one of these car companies, TJ's going to take over. And they're all going to be tuners and electric.
But there's going to be hot rod shops putting big blocks in them.
Yeah, I'm in.
So.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Let's,
Well, but the
there'll all be
tuner-
some
hey, let's
craziness.
And these-
really tick them off. Let's take a Tesla and Coyote swap it.
There has been a Tesla already that is, I think it was LS swapped.
Right.
And then there was also a, what's that little Toyota Prius?
Prius.
Prius with it's a drag car, but
Wow.
it's got a turboed LS in it and
I mean,
When you
runs
ta-
eights.
When you talk about the car culture thing, I mean,
Yeah.
you're talking about hot rods, right? And you've got some here that are $500,000. I'm sure you've gone up there, but these tuners, there's $500,000
Oh, yeah.
tuner cars. Out
Oh,
there, too.
absolutely.
So I mean, it's really we gave them a lot of crap about it, but I mean, it's really just two. It's one car guy, and they're basically two different kinds
Right.
of styles. I mean, and they're all car guys.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you could take let's say just a smaller car. So British cars are smaller, and put a 2JZ motor in it, which to me that's a tuner style engine, but
Right.
a big turbo on it, and the sucker's going to be fast. It's going to be cool.
Right.
And so you take somebody like me who's into the older stuff, but you still look at a car like that with a lot of respect because it's just fast. Anything that's fast is going to be cool. That's why I said even like doing the Tesla Plaid drivetrain in an old car, it's going to take a lot of people off, but they're going to give it mad respect because it's going to be so fast.
Oh, absolutely.
So a car guy cannot deny when something's fast.
Yeah.
They just can't deny it.
Yeah.
It might make them upset that they like it,
Yeah.
but
There's
Yeah.
a quote that I like. It's called, now, just take it with a grain of salt, old ways won't open new doors.
Right.
Now, that
Right.
opens the door to innovation. When you have something that set a mark, when the industry has been one way, but now you have a different direction, it gives you something to work toward, to innovate in the process.
right. And that's, I mean, you look at the LS world, I couldn't tell you how many cars we've had. We have in here right now that we've LS swapped. So used to, that was kind of like a bad word, because everything, everybody's going with the new technology, and we want the old technology, but then now the LS technology is the old technology, and then you got the LT platform for GM. Ford, you got the Coyote platform, and then we got the Godzilla platform, and there's so many different platforms now that we have that you just have to evolve with those. I do not see, especially in Oklahoma, I think it'd be a extremely long time before the electric world will take over in the hot rod scene.
Right.
Right, we drive too much.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
and
Too
we
many
all
miles
want
in a day.
but we also want to hear that rumble when we hit the key. We want to hear
right.
it. We want to feel it, and so it's going to be hard to get, the older generation jumped in on that, culture. So would it be a smart move for me to start, doing electric swaps? Not at all.
Right.
I'll stay away from it just because there's here now in California, there's companies out there that make drop-in units that are made that it's so simple. You can take an old hot rod like this 35 Plymouth and drop an electric motor in it, just like dropping in a small block Chevrolet.
Right.
Plug and play.
That's been out
Simple.
for about 5 years.
Yeah, it has.
Wiring harness and everything.
Yep.
It's a kit.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
It is crazy though. I just see that
Cool.
stupid Tesla truck everywhere now, Aaron.
Oh, they're
Oh, yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah,
They're everywhere.
yeah.
I saw the red
I drew
one,
that in
a few
grade
days
school.
ago.
I know.
Really,
A
really
red
kind of
one.
good looking.
I think
It's
they took
red.
my
They've
plan.
already
Wow.
painted it.
Hey, wait.
It's red. It looks
All-
it's pretty cool looking.
That's
all of
nice.
us that are, I'm almost 60, okay? Any of us that ever competed in the Pinewood Derby built that,
Built that,
truck
yeah,
to
built that
race
truck.
many, many years ago.
Wedge.
You know, that's what it looked like, just
Yeah. Oh,
a
yeah.
wedge. The first one of those I saw, I thought,
I thought it was a joke,
yeah, I did
Yeah.
too.
and I'm sorry if anybody out there has one. They love it. That's fine.
What
look
is that?
at-
The Rivian. It says looks like a truck in their ad. It's like
Yes.
EV looks like a truck. That's their first phrase.
Man.
Now, we had a Rivian at the dealership. Took
Really?
trade-in on it. Yeah, got traded in on a Lightning. And it's better than the rest of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it actually looks like something
Right.
you would drive. And
Yeah.
I have a neighbor that has the Rivian truck, and his wife drives the Rivian SUV. And the SUV actually has a pretty nice style to it. Do we need to take a break, Travis?
Pause. Sorry about that.
hey.
We had a little technical difficulty
And
with
Andy's never going to let us come back.
a little bit of technical difficulty there.
But if we do come back, honey, he said he'd have ice cream.
Ah,
Yes. Yeah. Now and hot dogs.
And
And hot dogs.
Right.
Yeah.
so we're talking about electric cars.
Electric cars. He was talking about electric cars, and I forget where we were going.
Nope.
with that.
I think he was.
Me.
Yep.
Oh,
You've
the plug and
got-
play.
You've got performance,
Plug and play, get it?
V8 engine, push rod motors, you know, the modular motors, mixed up with electric cars, particularly the pickups we're talking about. And that's apples and oranges.
Oh,
Because I'll tell you why. If you're in the city of Tulsa, Wasso, Sand Springs, it don't matter. You've got city employees in the maintenance department that drive pickups all over. And the average, Rivian did, you know what the average is? About 180 miles a day, 100, 150. It's perfect. That's what it works well for a truck.
Right.
Now, it ain't going to pull a gooseneck trailer. But the savings to the city is phenomenal. 'Cause you don't have all the stuff with, all the fluids and all the gas and all that stuff. They work fine. You plug them in at night. Case in point. What year did the Prius come out? Do you know? Because I do.
oh Lord, it was
90.
yeah.
97.
I was going to say 97.
But the
They're still making them.
but the,
Right.
You don't see them you don't see this big ban against them.
Yeah.
Right.
but the Prius came out as a hybrid.
Right.
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 But it's still a local town. I got a buddy that drives to Pryor back and forth every day. Charges it once a week.
Yeah.
And it's like a 2004 Prius. So it has its place. They really do.
I think it does. I mean, there's definitely applications that I feel that would be very beneficial to have electric.
I think at this point in time, a hybrid application
Yeah.
would be better than a full electric application.
I just don't know when you're talking about hot rods.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
When,
That's
how
the
you,
apples and oranges
How
piece.
you
Yeah.
would do a hybrid. I'm sure there's a way because everybody can figure it out. But some of these old cars are really small.
Hey,
that's
look,
not
So
what
trying to figure
Look,
all that out.
15 years from now, nobody's going to drop you off a Prius to have it customized.
I was going to say,
Turn this into 500
I wouldn't say
grand, will you?
nobody.
yeah.
So we had the craziest one that he didn't show up though. We had him on schedule. And this has been many years ago, but it was a Honda 600, which is a little bitty small car,
Right.
and that we were going to put a RX-7 rotary engine in it, and
Bad to
that
be.
was going to be pretty wild. And I don't know. I'm sure you remember there used to be some. I can't remember the nationality of these guys, but they had little bitty small cars like that at the drag strip. There was a yellow one and a red one, and they both had rotary RX-7
Yeah.
engines in them. Fast little thing, which back then I was really young. I was probably 18 years old
Right.
looking at these cars running 11s, and that was fast. Now you just run into the Ford dealership, pick up a car, go run 11s if you want to.
Run 11s, 10s.
Yeah,
Just,
so
you have to click the right.
you got to click the right box.
Right.
Yeah. And like we were talking, you can go buy the F-150, which is what I really want to do. XL F-150.
The Mid-America
right box.
show, he ran out the back of that truck. Randy
Yeah.
ran the whole show.
Absolutely.
All of this stuff off plugging in the back of the bed.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about the F-150 that it's the short box with the Coyote engine,
Yep.
10-speed automatic, and you throw is it
Whipple.
Whipple? Yeah,
Whipple.
and it's 700 horsepower. They run 10s. You can go to Hellion turbos and throw on a Hellion kit and run 9s. So
Don't you
all
have to
out of a stock
Stock.
truck.
Don't you have to put some in the back?
No,
No.
because it's 4-wheel drive.
Oh, okay.
So
All right.
you click the 4-wheel drive
Oh.
option, don't do the 2-wheel drive, and it's just wicked.
Cool.
That's
it's
awesome.
wicked.
We've built 3 of those.
Pull up beside a C8 Corvette and really make them mad.
Yeah.
That's how you do it.
Eat them for lunch.
I have seen like TikTok
And it-
videos where they had like a Lamborghini thinking he's all, bad and whatever,
Right.
and he gets up in this Ford truck who just looks like a regular old Ford truck, and that thing just zips right by him.
Yeah.
Well, it don't take much to take a 3.5 EcoBoost and get 600 horse out of
Right.
it. A tune and a tweak. Okay?
Yeah.
And that's where technology has come so far. We had a 65 Mustang that we didn't build it here at the shop, so I don't want, because there's some people out there and they know which car I'm talking about, but it approached right around 750 horsepower to the tire.
Right.
And fully streetable. The guy can drive it anywhere. It was a Coyote with a Whipple. No, and it was Kenny Bell, and he could drive this car anywhere he wanted. And the company down in Arlington tuned it for him, and the car's just, now if I built a car back in my day to make that kind of horsepower, you ain't driving it.
Oh, no.
Right.
Oh, I would drive it around locally, but to drive it to California from here, yeah, unheard of. Couldn't do it. Couldn't afford it. But nowadays you take these cars with the modern drivetrains in them and turn up the power on these things and make really, really sick amount of power. You can approach 1,000 horsepower and daily drive it.
Right. Well, that's like your '08 Super Snake, Earl. You could have cruised across the country in that car.
Yep. Put it in 6th and just drive it.
Yeah, but in
Second gear, you better be careful if you touch that gas pedal.
first gear was useless. I remember that car. That thing was bad.
So you don't think there's any risk associated with the hot rod industry? Because I was listening to another hot rod podcast, and one of the things they talked about was a little bit what you were talking about, like electric hot rods.
Yeah.
And it was kind of like this, bad topic. But this was some manufacturer out of some dude out of Michigan or something. Big guy. I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. But he was talking about, hey, that's the future of hot rods. And I looked in the comments section thinking, okay, but there's a lot of people who disagree. And you
Right.
made the comment earlier, like he mentioned V8s are going away.
Yeah, I
and
thought he
you're
was
like,
talking about, V8s. I can't see in my lifetime.
Right.
Because as long as I'm alive, they're not going to go away because I'll keep it going.
Right.
But it's going to be a long time before, if a politician, and I don't really ever see this being able to happen,
Yeah.
but let's say a politician outlawed a gas engine. They outlaw a lot of things that we do. So they outlaw street racing, and hot rodders still street race. So the big block or the gas engine, it won't go away.
Yeah.
Right.
It won't go, and not in my lifetime.
Well, the
And-
infrastructure alone, across the United States wouldn't support it.
Right.
How often would you have to charge up going just west?
Right.
Could you find a location to charge and
Yeah.
you have to plot, like people do, the route based
Yeah.
on charging stations?
Yeah.
Well, and it's just like right now, I'm fixing to head off to Waurika, Oklahoma to go to a catfishing tournament. But I guarantee you there's not any
I built
charge
that lake,
port.
by the way.
Did you? There's
That
not
doesn't
any charge
surprise
port.
me.
Land of the red muddy water.
It's right there at the Red River, pretty close. But I guarantee you there's nowhere to charge.
Right.
Nothing.
From here to there.
Yeah.
And so, I wouldn't be able to do what I love doing.
Your administration, current one, got way in front of the engineering.
Right.
There's been electric semi-trucks around about 5 or 6 years.
Right.
But they are very particular and still in development. Same with the cars and stuff. Because the first electric car is in the Smithsonian
Yeah, it is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
by Henry Ford and
Oh, wow.
and Thomas A. Edison.
Yeah.
It's been around a long time. It's a 1913. It went like 10 miles.
Wow.
But
There's always
the
been
engineering has got to catch up with
Right,
it, and maybe in 50 years, Andy, maybe 75 years.
Yeah. And there's a place for it. There is a place for it.
Sure, like I said, just that one example, using a pickup or a delivery van like this this old panel delivery here to your left,
Yeah.
same deal. Electric panel delivery,
Right.
you know.
Well, there's little, the getting around town, the delivery trucks
Right.
and that kind of thing. I mean, it's easy for them.
Minivans.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. They get in,
Soccer
get out.
moms.
They go through.
Absolutely.
town.
Yeah.
Plug it in
I mean,
and go.
Go.
And if you have the right equipment at home, I see the advantage of it. It's getting the right equipment at home.
Right.
Was the key. And his
Rural
buddy,
America, I just don't see rural
No.
America being able to,
No.
to
Of course, we always the last to get everything anyway, so it all kind of follows.
which is good.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
we just keep updating all the old stuff and make it nicer.
yeah,
right.
that's true.
It's all
Because
good.
what his shop does in an older, let's pick on the panel delivery here. And Travis has made a lot of really good money, right? TJ, I mean. And he doesn't have the ability to do, he could learn it, but he can't do distributors and points and carburetors. He can't do that.
Right.
So you put in a high-tech LS motor in it, starts every day.
Every day.
And no pull choke on it.
Right.
So it's cool looking, but it's modernized.
Yeah.
Right.
Got, power disc brakes on it and
never
electronic
even
stuff
thought-
that monitors.
I never even thought
What
of
is
that
it, that sniper you put on there now that does
Right.
everything from your phone?
So,
yeah.
but this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to, I'm not going to bash anybody's product or nothing like that. But one thing that I've seen, it really, really got bad. I'm going to say the bad word, COVID. But after COVID, parts and things have the quality level has
Yes.
went downhill. Just case in point, LS3. We just put one in my good friend's truck. It was a 71 C10. He's daily driving this thing. He's in Dallas. Crazy traffic, but it's got all late model suspension. Thing handles and drives great, but bought a brand new LS3. You wouldn't think you'd have any problems. It's using oil, and
no.
and
That's
next thing you know, it's ticking and making noise. And so
Yeah.
you just bought something brand new that you spent, that whole crate package is about $16,000, and you expect to not have any problems. That's not the case. Some of these this product that we're getting out there, it's it's not good. It's not good. So we have brand new alternators, brand spanking new. Go out before we can get the car built and out the door. And it makes us in the hot rod world, that makes our job so much harder because I can't sit there and keep billing for a customer's vehicle. Case in point, I got a LS motor in here right now with a cam sensor that went out of it. Bought a brand new cam sensor from the local hardware store. That was my problem. I went to the hardware store.
Home Depot.
He got it at Ace.
But we bought a brand new part from one of the local stores, put it in, truck fired up, but then it wouldn't do it anymore.
So you're saying that the specs are off
Everything, yeah.
because of COVID, that the actual manufacturing, the specs
I think
of
that
the
they,
equipment or
I
parts
don't
are
know
off.
what really happened, but in my world, the parts, I see issues with parts a lot more than what I did. There's always, anytime that man makes anything, we can mess up. And parts, you're always going to have problems, but it just seems like it's been a lot lately.
That's fascinating.
And just like I said with this cam sensor, now we spent, hours upon hours diagnosing the problem. And if I called my customer up and said, hey, I've got 50 hours in diagnosing this cam sensor that we already replaced, he'd be like, well, you go call so-and-so.
Right.
And, and I have a conscience and I sleep at night. So that just went into my file of oops, and we replaced it and we went on. But it happens way more lately, it seems, than it ever has in the past.
So what do you do with the older, like these older cars? I know we talked earlier, but I mean, you have an old
Obsolete parts.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard, and maybe I'm wrong. I've heard the print. There's some parts that they can print. Now I don't know what scale that is.
Right.
I don't know the technical range, but they basically build them.
Right.
I mean, they take the schematics of it, they put it in a computer, and goes in a machine, and it builds it.
Right. So we took a car, just kind of on that point, we took a car where it had an '08 Shelby GT500 engine in it. This car is not a Shelby. It is not a Mustang, but it has all the badging and everything on it. So we took everything off, sent it out to our machine shop. He was able to make everything. Now it says Mercury on it, and they were able to fabricate all these parts. So now we put it on there.
That's cool.
It's not you look at it, it's not a Shelby, but you look at it and you're like, well, Mercury, they quit making Mercury how long ago? This is, but so they can fabricate parts. And like I was telling you then, they mill the parts on certain things. There are some things that they can 3D print, and I think that technology is going to get much better and get out there. But that 3D printed models are more.
All about that.
Oh yeah.
The 3D printed models that I've seen of things are a little bit rough around the edges.
Right.
And so some of the stuff we'd have to spend a lot of time smoothing them out. But you take a piece of billet and machine it and mill it out, it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. Just case in point, talking about a grill, that could be around $10,000 for a grill to be made. So,
My goodness.
That's like the guy that was at the Shelby meet that does the wheels
yes.
Yeah.
out of Claremont.
5,000
Ford
wheel.
line.
Yeah.
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 Those were some cool wheels.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we put them on.
Did you
a
say
few cars.
$5,000?
Oh, that's,
Wheel. Steve
So
he does
this-
the wheel side.
Yeah, this.
Oh, my God.
The one car that you're talking about right behind us, those wheels are $10,000
Oh wow.
just for those wheels. So
Oh, my gosh.
that's why when we talk about
You said I could get a daily driver here.
Yeah, you can get a daily driver here.
But now the car right behind you, the 35 Plymouth, those wheels they fit that car and they look really well. We can get a set of those for $2,000.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what you're wanting.
Yeah.
$2,000.
Yeah, it depends on what you're wanting and the look that you're after. But yeah, that
Well, it
stuff
just
is
goes like
expensive.
3D printing is where manufacturing has been heading, and it's there. And so the idea of turnaround on parts and products
Right.
of that, and even the tech centers now are equipped with 3D printers, so students can learn how to use that tool.
I just
Wife
wonder if they'll.
teaches him how to do it.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I just
Nice.
want-
Tech.
Steve's wife does that
Yeah.
step.
I just wonder if there'll be
Absolutely.
a day when, like, that engine right there, you can go, I want that engine, and they just put it in a computer
Fabricate
and
it.
comes
Yeah.
out the other end.
Yeah.
They can do that with a hamburger.
I know.
Hamburger.
Moving right along.
Yeah, now I'm hungry.
Now I'm hungry.
Hot dogs and ice cream.
So
We're hungry.
You're talking about the engines behind us.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he can see these on
can-
camera.
Yeah.
We can get a shot.
Tell us about that one.
So that one is a Boss 9. It's a Cossie engine. And if you're a Ford hot rodder, not new stuff, but a Ford hot rodder, old school stuff, John Cossie has been around a while in the drag racing, and he builds the big block Ford. He's been doing those forever. But he takes the Boss 429 style head. They mill them. They make this head fit on an old school 460, 429 block. And that's what we have back there. 600 cubic inches of just pure awesome. 800 natural aspirated horsepower. And won't pass anything but
Yeah, it won't pass a gas station.
Yeah, it won't pass a gas station.
But you know the cool
it'll pass
thing.
everything else.
You know the cool thing you see when you look at the front of that motor? Air conditioning.
Yes,
Yeah.
100%.
Oh.
So you can have a hot rod
Yep.
with that kind of horse and run down the road during the summer with air conditioning.
See, you can't do that with normal hot rods?
When they didn't. And so here's the other thing. This is the odd thing. So somewhere in there, cup holders.
Yes.
Every car we build now, used to, people are like, I'm not eating in my car. I just
Right.
spent
Yeah.
every car we build. That is the major thing people want is cup
Cup
holders.
holders.
Cup
Yep.
holders.
I remember back in the day when I sold cars, 20 years ago, that was like when we ordered them back in those days,
Yeah.
there was a thing in the order bank for how many cup holders we wanted. It was Chrysler.
Right.
So it was like, well, this model had 12 cup holders. This one had, and people were asking,
Yeah.
like, I want cup holders.
That actually, in the history books, the Chrysler minivan is what put them at the top.
That's,
That's
what I was
exactly
number
right.
Of cup holders. Yeah.
That's what I was selling.
Still
back
today.
But in the
And-
hot rod world, that's just odd to have somebody
I would
It is.
say,
Yeah.
You
But
ain't in my car.
Well,
I would
and
say every car that we build now, even when we do full-on restorations and we're trying to do a period correct restoration, I get asked, can we get a cup holder in there?
Yeah.
But I will say, if you're driving down the street, sorry, Steve, when you're
okay.
driving down the street or you're going to a show or whatever, it's better to have one in my nice car, to have a place to hold it, than trying to
Just wait till
hold-
you get there.
That's true.
Yeah.
I saw a VW with a coffee maker in it. It's an older
Oh, my
one, but
God.
there's
Right.
an actual coffee
Yeah.
maker in the VW on the dash.
My 2009 Ford Flex, the rear console would keep things cold.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
cool.
It was
So you
cool
don't.
deal.
So you don't have a favorite car
No.
that you have here.
No, and
Now
I've
you have a
owned-
Mercury Cyclone back there, and I've never seen one of
Right.
those. Can you tell a little bit about that car?
Well, so that one actually, the owner, it's got a really neat story. So he was in the Air Force, and this car has went from airbase to airbase to airbase, and he drug this car with him the whole time, and he would never leave because to do that, I mean, that took some work.
Yeah.
Because to travel, those guys, you know, y'all probably know more than I do about that, but these guys are constantly on the move. And but airbase to airbase, he would take this car with him and would never let it go. And he had it ever since he was 16.
Wow.
And it's a 390 car, which is a big block FE motor, really cool setup. Still got the 390 in it, but we modernized it. So now it's got a new style front end underneath it, a 4-link, and it's been tubbed, so it has a big tire now underneath it because that's what he seen as growing up. That's what he wanted, was a big tire car. That's kind of not really the thing anymore, but there's still people out there that want a big tire car.
Right.
And it looks really good.
He tubbed it.
Yeah, we tubbed it, so it'll
See,
fit a
belong-
15.
that motor belongs in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Well, his motor should make about 550-ish now.
Nice.
And
Pushing
you
that
know,
390.
Yeah.
Well, I saw the fastback from a distance. I'm like, there's a Mustang. I was like, no, that's not a Mustang. What
Right.
is that? So,
Yeah.
and I hadn't seen one before. So
That's
it's
what I
very
said. I said it was a
unique, yeah.
fastback, and he told me to get out of the shop.
Now,
Actually, he told you to get out of the shop when you thought this 72 Camaro back here
Well,
yeah,
that's-
well,
that one
was
too.
that a Mustang?
That one too, and that.
and that.
Now, personally, the oddest car that I have that I've been hanging on to it because I want to. My ultimate goal was to build a Riddler winner, which in my world that is upper echelon. If you build something and win the Riddler, that is like that's the upper.
That's-
and this car is an oddball.
That's
And-
the show in Detroit, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
The
Auto
Autorama.
show.
Yeah. And this car is a 39 Opel Capitan
Okay.
and convertible. Very odd, just ugly looking car. And I think it's perfect.
That
But
would be perfect.
Is it my favorite? By no means no. Would it be top 10 when it's done? Maybe. Right now, looking at it, it's ugly as sin. But
It would
it's
be-
cool.
I could see how it would be hard in this because I mean you're always building stuff
Yes.
new. You know,
Every
there's
time
one
we
out here
build-
I think you're not supposed to talk about, but I mean
Yeah.
when it's done, you're like
It's new.
that's gonna be
Yes.
new.
Yeah.
One of
Wouldn't
one.
It, wouldn't it Shelby?
Wow.
What? Carol Shelby. You guys say it all the time. What's your favorite car?
The next one.
The next
That
one.
kind of applies.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
The next one.
That is very on point. I would say like this 35 Plymouth behind us. I'm a 32 Ford coupe. That's kind of the upper echelon of the hot rod world. You think hot rod is 32 Ford coupe.
Yep.
But now this 35 Plymouth, when we started on it, I was like, cool. Didn't think much about it. But now that we're getting it close to the finish line, I'm starting to look at it and I'm like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah, cool
I would
car.
put it in my garage any day of the week.
That's not.
Right.
But-
That's
Built
not a
a-
grease lightning car, right?
He built a
No.
gray blue, blue gray, the one you took to SEMA.
Yeah, 33
But I-
Vicky.
Unbelievable.
Right.
And it was so clean, so
Yeah.
simple, but
Right.
won everything, didn't it?
Yeah, and I hated the car.
Really?
I hated it. I really didn't like it.
Did you really?
Yeah, it sat in my garage and just sat there, and I would get it out every night. It drove like a dream. Drove like a dream.
That's interesting.
As we asked the Carol Shelby question, what's the cool next one?
The cool next one. So as far as in the shop, cool next one.
Or for you?
So there is a weird story about for me. I have taken something that was a hobby and fun, turned it into a job.
Yeah, now it's not fun.
So it's still fun, and I love coming to work. It's like going to a car show. I don't go to car shows anymore,
Right.
Because every day is a car show.
Yeah.
If I want to see cool cars, we just come out here
I mean, you
and
have
look
some of
around.
the coolest
Right.
ones here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and now it's fishing. So
Okay.
if you say what is the cool next thing, it's going to be probably a new catfish boat. So, and then I want to. the craziest thing is when I went to look at this boat, and I'll just get on it just for a little bit. I went up to him and I said, "How fast does it go?" And he goes, "Why does that matter?" And I'm like, "Oh, it matters. Trust me, that matters."
Next spot.
So
Hurry.
Yeah.
He'll have his boat in here with the
Hey,
big old
Right,
jet
one of
thing.
those,
already been
two of
in here.
those on it. Right.
We've already worked on it.
what do you think he's building this
572.
engine for right
Yeah,
here?
heck yeah.
This is going in the catfish boat.
Inboard, outboard.
I have one question before we go. Sorry, I
you're
have
good.
to ask this question. You're talking about this big engine, and it was in my head, and I just got to ask a question and this is probably ignorant on me. When you build these things like this engine here, can you make it for any car?
Almost. So I will say the problem that you run into with a lot of, say, like the Coyote Ford platform, these big engines like this, you will have to, if you want to put it in a Mustang, you got to do a lot of work to get it in there.
Okay.
You can get it in there, but you got to do a lot of work. And now let's say it was an old 32 Ford Coupe, that motor will fit in there. You're going to have to do a lot of work to get it in there just because it's so wide and so big. So you can make anything work.
Have you Godzilla'd anything yet?
No, and I want to so bad. I've got one customer that he kept saying Gen 3, and I said, let's do a Godzilla,
Yep.
put a Whipple on it. And he, at the end of the day, he looked up the specs and he's like, "Oh, it weighs a ton." I'm like, "No, not really. Tell me you do everything.
Modern motor.
They're
Right.
heavy, but man, the power, and it was going in a truck, but
I have a tech at work that tells me the Godzilla motor only weighs between 50 and 70
Yeah.
pounds more than the modern day Coyote.
yeah,
I don't even know what you guys are talking.
So it's
it's so much narrower.
I saw a YouTube video where they had put the Godzilla motor in one of the Factory 5 AC Cobras,
Yeah,
and it was, now the purists were having a fit.
yeah.
But buddy, when you open the hood, that was the coolest looking thing you ever saw.
You got to see one in a 72 Bronco.
Yeah, oh, I have actually.
Gordon.
Yeah,
Yeah. He told me he never again. He said it was a lot of work.
I know a guy
Lot of
stuffing.
work.
Exactly. Couldn't get it between the frame rails.
Right.
I know a guy stuffing one in an '86 Bronco.
Yeah.
That is probably a little easier, a little more
Yeah.
engine compartment.
Yeah. And they're narrower, so they'll fit, as far as the width wise, it's just they're a lot taller.
Tall.
Okay, so when I'm ready to build the 32, I'm coming to see this guy.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Come on.
it will not, I repeat, will not have an LS motor in it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Hey, Travis Hall is signaling us, telling us it's time to get out of here. So,
We're generally out of time.
TJ, Caspi, and all the guys behind the camera, thank you. T Hall, good to see you. Andy, thank you for letting us
being here.
invade your space. And
And what about all of your website, all that good stuff? And
Yeah, we got this Facebook. I don't have a website.
Yeah, he-
Look us up on Facebook.
I was on his Facebookies today, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, Andy's Hot Rod and Restoration.
Prince Earl, good to see you.
Sir.
Steve McQueen Hahn, it's great to have you back.
Sir.
And we're going to do this in a couple of weeks. Where?
we'll be at Gateway.
Gateway Classic Cars. So, hey, for the whole crew, I'm Randy Pierce. And I'll see you down the road.